Masai Ujiri might have just saved the Raptors again with yet another genius plan that might give us an edge as we look towards a big playoff push next season. Let's get into it. Welcome NBA and Raptors fans. This is Amateur Hour Sports, a channel where you get NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors at least 4 days a week. Our upload schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So if you like what you see from today's video and you want more of myself talking about the Raptors in videos and content just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Thank you, everybody. We just hit 3,000 subscribers on the channel. I cannot express my gratitude enough to everybody. Thank you so much for supporting me, supporting what I do. It was essentially a year ago, 5 days ago, that we hit 100 subscribers on the channel. So to see the insane growth in this channel, it truly means a lot to me. Thank you guys. We are going to continue to keep pushing, continue to keep it consistent with the content, and I'm so happy to have you guys along for the ride. But if you're new, make sure to join the fun. So today we are talking about Masai Ujiri yet again. I mean, we're in off-season mode. It's all about Masai Ujiri and how he can restructure this team. But some of the things in season that Masai Ujiri did for the Toronto Raptors is going to help us in this off-season. And I want to start off by saying that, wow, I was wrong. Masai Ujiri certainly committed at the deadline to not being the best. And in short, tanking. Masai Ujiri at the deadline decided that this team was just going to tank it up. Just go out and get that good pick. Don't worry about going for the play-in. Play-in for what?
Playing for what?
Looking at the teams who are going through the play-in tournament, they are not having a very good time. And even the lower seeds in the East. Miami got swept in the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks. The Boston Celtics are about to lose to the Nets in 5. I mean, I called that series to a T. The Nets are going to dominate, but Jason Tatum's going to have one elite game, which he did in the 50-point game, which is going to give them the win. But I think it's absolutely inevitable that the Brooklyn Nets will close it out at home. Then the Washington Wizards, they're going to get swept by the Philadelphia 76ers. They are nowhere even close to them in that series. So the Raptors avoided this insane first round just demolition derby from the top 3 seeds in the Eastern Conference. And I was adamant from the second half of the season that this team, I would like to go see them win their games. I'd like to see them try to get into a play-in tournament just for a little bit of excitement. But now, seeing it in hindsight, I was certainly wrong. But yeah, I mean, I can be forgiven, right? Certainly I can be forgiven for wanting to watch this team succeed, wanting to watch this team win, because, you know, I sit there every single game on Twitch and we watch along every single Raptors game. I don't want to sit there and want this team to lose. So, you know, I was happy. I was happy in this oblivious state of, yeah, let's go win games. But now, seeing what is happening to the guys who actually made the playoffs, I could not be happier because, you know, Boston and Miami especially, those are teams usually lingering around the same areas as the Raptors in the Eastern Conference. So looking at them with, you know, tumultuous events happening, potentially needing to retool the Raptors, well, they're getting a top 10 pick, and they have a 31.9% chance of getting a top 4 pick. So the Raptors in the offseason are going to have a little bit of a head start compared to Miami and Boston. Miami and Boston, well, specifically Boston, in a little bit of trouble. They are struggling to create depth. You know, people are calling for Danny's head. People are saying maybe Brad Stevens shouldn't be there. There's a lot of problems going on with the Boston Celtics. But looking at the Raptors, well, we have that great core of players in place of Siakam, OG Anunoby, and Fred VanVleet, and we are about to add a top 10 pick to that. We have Gary Trent as well. Khem Birch looked great near the end of the season. We'll see if he can reproduce that next season. There is a lot to like about this Raptors team already. Now they're going to add that top 10 pick. And, you know, seeing what the state of the Celtics are, where, you know, sure, Jaylen Brown is injured, but if Jaylen Brown was healthy, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of this series against the Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn is always going to win that series. And looking at Washington, who made that huge push near the end of the season to get into the play-in tournament, you know, that's a little bit of a different situation for Washington because they're not accustomed to, you know, getting into playoff positions year after year. So I think that, you know, it was good for the fans to see that. It's just not very good now that they're going to get dumped by the 76ers in 4 games in the first round. But the Toronto Raptors, again, I was wrong about it. The tanking was the best option for this team, and now we are getting ready to head into a draft where it's pretty top heavy, and we're going to be drafting near the top for the first time in a very long time. The Toronto Raptors had gone 7 seasons in a row making the playoffs, and we had done very well with the draft picks that we had, even in those lower situations. I will reiterate, I sound like a broken record talking about it, but OG Anunoby went 23rd overall. Pascal Siakam went 27th overall. The Raptors know how to draft, and in the past, when they have had lottery picks, we've wound it up with guys like Jonas Valanciunas and DeMar DeRozan with this front office in place. The old front office in place, we ended up with Andrea Bargnani. But, looking at the guys that we've recently gotten in those lottery selections, the Raptors know how to do a good job with their draft picks. And the draft picks that we are potentially going to get would not have happened if Masai Ujiri didn't have the foresight that I lacked midway through the season to decide that there was absolutely no reason to get into the play-in tournament.
We want to win a championship here.
If you want to go win a championship in the next few years, then getting into the play-in isn't what is going to help this Toronto Raptors team do that. And I'm starting to understand that, looking at the reality that it is for some of the teams who actually made the playoffs. I wouldn't have really enjoyed that as a Raptors fan. You know what? It would have been cool to see them win more games near the end of the season. I would not have enjoyed seeing them go down like that in the first round of the playoffs. So now that we have this little bit of a head start against maybe the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, and maybe some other teams in this playoff situations, I think the Raptors can really look like a threat in the Eastern Conference. But I think it ultimately will boil down to how the draft lottery goes. And, a lot of Raptors fans, they continue to Photoshop Cade Cunningham in Toronto Raptors jerseys. But, we have to keep our expectations realistic. The realistic thing that is going to happen here is the Raptors wind up with a pick between 7 to 10. Now, I still think we can get a talented player here. We can go multiple different ways. We can go for a point guard, a shooting guard, a center. There might be a power forward, small forward available. We can really go with any position here, and it's up to the organization to decide what would be the best fit here. And I think that the 7 to 10 picks are really where Masai is going to look for the best fit to, complement the guys that we already have. If we get a top 4 pick, you take one of the best guys, you take the best guy available. So your first, you take Cade. Your second, you take Mobley. If you're third or fourth, you take Suggs or Green, possibly Barnes or Kuminga. But the Raptors are absolutely going to take the best player available down there. Worry about the fit later. 7 to 10, we probably look for the best fit. I have my eye 1,000,000% on Keon Johnson from the 7 to 10 range. If we can get him from 7 to 10, I would go away a very happy man. But there's going to be future draft content coming on the channel. But the biggest thing here, Masai Ujiri decided that this team does not need to compete for a playoff position. This team does not need to compete for play-in positions because it would hurt us in the long run. And we are going to see kind of the effects of how it's going against the Boston Celtics, how it's going against the Miami Heat after, because there's a lot of people calling out the likes of Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero for the way they played in the playoffs here, because they were so good in the bubble last year. Where was it this season? Why could they not reproduce that this season? I have huge praise for Jimmy Butler in the past, but looking at it now, I still have that praise for Jimmy Butler. It just wasn't his series. But for Tyler Hero, a lot of questions about him. Was he a bit of a bubble fraud? And, why the Miami Heat turned down trading him for Kyle Lowry. When there was those huge discussions for Kyle Lowry, why did they not put Tyler Hero in those discussions? Because now you're seeing, are we really seeing Tyler Hero's true colors? I think bottom line is Tyler Hero's a great player, and I can understand why Miami didn't want to trade him for Kyle Lowry, and maybe these are a little bit of his true colors, but Tyler Hero is still a very young player, has a very high ceiling. There's a lot they can continue to work with this player to get him back to what he was last season, because last season, polls went out. Would you rather have Tyler Hero or the first overall pick in the draft that is about to happen? And 68% of voters said Tyler Hero. So, a lot of people had high praise for Tyler Hero. That's kind of going away, but a lot of questions for Miami, how they're going to fix the current roster they have. Jimmy Butler's on a max contract for the next 2 years. How are you going to work to get him the proper players that he needs beside him to go and challenge for an NBA Finals appearance again? And for the Boston Celtics, with a lot of money tied up in Kemba Walker, how are you going to have the funds to put the right players around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? That is a question that the Boston Celtics are going to need to answer. But I think for Raptors fans, we're looking at this core group of of players that we have, and it looks like that we can be competitive. And adding a draft pick to that is only going to make us more competitive. What we lack, I think, is some top-heavy depth for our bench, like a 7th, 8th, 9th guy in the rotation. We really need to get some proper NBA talent to come off the bench in those situations, add more scoring to our bench. That's what really hurt us at the start of the season, and retool. But we have done the work here to be able to accelerate the process of retooling the team, whereas the Celtics and the Miami Heat, who clearly need a retool, those teams are going to be a little bit behind, and we have a head start in the retooling process. And with the great minds involved, like potentially Masai Ujiri if he returns and Bobby Webster, the Raptors are going to be able to get back on track next season. And this is just even more confirmation for me that this Raptors team is going to be back next season and going to get themselves back in the playoffs and potentially be in contention for maybe going after a championship in the next 2, 3, or 4 years. So for the people like myself who are consistently saying that we need to go and try to win games, what do you guys make of the situation now? And for the people who kept saying that they wanted to tank, I gotta say, you guys were right. But let me know what you guys think about all the situations surrounding the Celtics, the Heat, and of course the Raptors in the comments down below. But that wraps up for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, be sure to give the video a like if you did enjoy any point to help us reach some new viewers, because we hit 3,000 subscribers. We're on our way to 4,000 subscribers now that we have hit that milestone. Remember to check out our Twitch, twitch.tv/amateursports. The link is down below. We watched along a ton of NBA playoff games, something new today, watching along the Leafs first halves, Game 7. Got to give a little bit of respect to our boys in blue that share the city with us. And also, again, hit the button next to my head to subscribe, because we do want to hit that 4,000 subscribers. We are probably going to set ourselves a challenge. If we hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2021, I will shave my head again like I did for the charity streams in March. But remember, at the end of the day, believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.